the Shitcase Cinema.
They're the blind dead.
Now, it's been a while since I reviewed a good old-fashioned horror film, and the best are usually the older ones, so I've found this 1972 unpolished gem that is definitely worth a shitcasing, so let's go. So, straight off the bat, I'm just wanting to watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail, especially when hearing this. Anyway, we quickly see some poor woman tied up to be sacrificed.
With the sacrifice, the holy order of the blood ritual as you so command.
And now I'm just wanting to watch a badly dubbed Godfrey Ho film.
All right, kill me.
Your death will serve no purpose.
I've lost faith. I can never return to the Ninja Empire.
Anyway, so Horseman hit her with swords, but clearly missed. Then Knights drink her blood, and BAM! The titles rock up, and here we go, The Blind Dead. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Forget Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead, The Walking Dead, House of the Dead, which is probably a good thing to forget in all fairness. This is The Blind Dead, also known as Tombs of the Blind Dead, but I'll comment on that later on. So at a holiday resort, everyone's loving life. Yeah, well, you enjoy it because it'll be 2020 soon before you know it, and you'll be social distancing and all that bollocks. But anyway, we're introduced to Virginia, who spots an old school friend called Betty.
Look how you've grown up. You too, you look great. The school beauty. Do you remember how you taught me to fix the eyes when we were in school? Remember? I remember everything.
Now, if that wasn't awkward enough, Virginia's partner Roger turns up and invites Betty along for a camping trip out of the blue.
We were planning to spend the weekend camping. Why don't you come with us?
But Betty doesn't like camping. I wouldn't want to intrude, but I guess you'd rather be alone.
Not at all. It'd be a
I
real...
love how Virginia somehow knows that her old friend doesn't like camping despite not seeing her since childhood. You know, I'm getting vibes now of perhaps Camp Blood or even Grim Weekend, two bona fide shitcase classics. I really want to watch Camp Blood or Grim Weekend now.
Listen too good, do you, boy? You and your friends don't want to go to Camp Blood.
We need to find my wife now.
Okay, Mark. Now what's wrong?
Wait, where's Susan? We're looking for her. Susan!
Anyway, Roger captures Betty as she stumbles on the train and makes a meal of it seconds later, and Virginia decides enough is enough and does what any normal person would do. Offer to bribe the train driver to stop the train.
Think you could stop a moment? I'd like to get off.
That's impossible. I'm against regulations.
Well, suppose it's back to seeing your boyfriend flirting with your friend, but to hell with that, jump off the train instead! Yeah, seriously, I mean, it's a little extreme, but it's moments like this that make this film awesome.
Virginia!
Virginia!
Virginia, you gone mad?
It's the break alarm.
Should I pull it?
No, I never stop in this place.
But you heard the alarm.
I don't care.
You don't care. That's priceless. But it's a good job they don't care and they don't stop and get Virginia back, because now she can run into the blind dead. It's really not worth it, so don't get excited. So she walks through the countryside and comes across the ruins of an old monastery, and she walks around for what seems like a lifetime, which is amazing considering the movie's only 82 minutes long, but she decides to pitch a camp and relax around the fire with a radio and a book. Sorry, but just what is going on? I mean, a moment ago she was on holiday with a partner having a lovely time, and now she's on her own in a fucking monastery, camping and reading a romance novel to fill her heart back up. Words just fail me. Holiday in Spain with her boyfriend Roger? Nah, all a girl needs is a sleeping bag, music, a good book and a cigarette. Oh, and the blind dead, of course. And their blind dead horses. Brilliant. So Virginia hears a noise and gets up to investigate. I love how she's changed into her pyjamas, then changes back into her clothes. Might as well just be treating yourself to a wardrobe love and move on in. So the mystery figures in the fog are the blind dead, and they know where Virginia is despite being blind, but that's just because she constantly draws attention to herself by screaming. The blind dead are just as stupid though, because they're constantly chanting, so she always knows where they are and they always know where she is because she screams. I mean, if they all keep their mouths shut, it'd work out so much better for all of them. Anyway, surprise, surprise, she dies after they stalk her at 1 mile an hour. Oh, and she had the excitement of riding a dead zombie horse too for a short while. Actually, it must be more than a short while, it must be hours, because it went from nighttime to daytime. Amazing. Now, if you enjoy listening to people screaming bloody murder, then there's lots of screaming in this, so enjoy. Meanwhile, Roger is having breakfast with Betty, and suddenly they remember all about poor Virginia. So, moving things on faster than the film does, they jump on some horses and decide to find her, but get the unfortunate news that she's dead.
Your friend has been murdered.
No, it's my fault.
Betty, it's not your fault.
Roger really doesn't seem to care. So at the morgue, they have to identify the body, and why is that guy grinning to himself? Well, whatever.
Please uncover her.
Ugh, Virginia's turned old. Oh no, wrong body.
It's not this one. The young girl we brought in this morning.
Yes, Doctor.
Freak. Again, Roger doesn't seem to care. You can pretty much guess what happens next. Now, if you said dead Virginia becomes a zombie for no reason and kills the freak in the morgue, then congratulations, you win absolutely nothing, but well done anyway. He deserved to die anyway because he's got a frog in a bowl and he keeps poking it, but thankfully the frog gets away. Fuck the freak! But now all I want to know is she now the blind dead? Nothing else matters. There's some more characters we don't care about, like this professor dude. Now, Roger tells him they need to know why Virginia was killed at the monastery, and he gets all excited.
Our friend was murdered at Berzano.
Huh? At Berzano? That's where the Templar cemetery is. This is magnificent.
He's mad.
Yeah, he is clearly mad, but he also speaks words of wisdom too.
They're the blind dead.
But that will be no handicap, as they still can hear their victims and will continue with terror and murder.
Yeah, we know. We saw Virginia give away a location due to constant screaming. I mean, she probably thought she was starring in The Death Dead. Anyway, she turns up at a mannequin shop that, funnily enough, belongs to Betty.
I make mannequins. Dummies you see in department stores.
So, zombie Virginia attacks some woman, but is ultimately burned alive, even though she's technically dead, and she does what she does best. Now, here's another character we don't care about called Pedro. He's a professor's son and a smuggler. Epic shitcase, Tash, my man. That clip reminds me of Bennett from Commando, and now I'm just wanting to watch Commando. Hell, anything would be better than this drivel. I feel like my life force is just fading and I'm turning into nothing more than a dried out corn husk. I mean, none of these characters feel like real people with real depth. They're beyond wooden, it's a joke. They're just like tiny pieces of confetti just floating around willy-nilly in the wind. Ugh, come on, power through, power through. So here's my top 5 random bullshit moments. Number 1, a meaningless flashback to when the women were school kids really is an epic fail. Why not just use 2 young girls instead of the same actresses? Number 2, despite having some decent flames going, Virginia thinks it's necessary to continue to blow. Still, she jumps off a train, so she's not exactly going to realise that big flames are not tiny embers. Number 3, when Virginia is on the blind dead horse and is being chased, it's all done in slow motion just because this movie isn't slow enough as it is. Number 4, lights in morgues randomly swing back and forth for no reason. Number 5, horses will run away when you take them to haunted monasteries.
What do you think frightened the horses?
Could have been a snake or something.
A snake or something. Man, he does not give one flying fuck about anything. You shitcase legend! So our gang all head to the monastery and Pedro has his way with Betty. She runs away and he's left to meet his end.
I'm not afraid of you. You hear me?
Why doesn't he run away? Why does everyone stand there? Well, it's probably because he just wants to impress us with his awesome death cry. Then it's Roger's turn to be trapped and stalked by the evil dead knights.
Open the door! Open it! Open it! They're coming!
But on the other side of the door, Betty and Pedro's tight are having a fight, and finally when Betty lets Roger in, he just kind of falls in, and then the knights amble on in and kill the whining bints, which you're thankful for, and check this out.
Oh, Roger.
Don't speak. If you don't speak, you'll be safe.
That is some serious Shakespearean shit right there. I'm in awe. So Roger's dead, boo-hoo, and Betty does what nobody else could. She keeps her mouth shut and runs away. Clever girl. Now I think she stubs her toe or something, but she manages to keep a constant distance between her and the blind dead and their blind horses, and wow, she's made it to the train tracks where the same guys from earlier just happen to be driving by.
Help me, for God's sake!
Quickly!
Nah, it's fine, he'll take his time and fanny around because the blind dead can only move in slow motion. You've got loads of time, mate. You can pretty much guess what happens next. Now, if you say they drive away to a happy ending, you're wrong, because he dies. Random passengers die in the train. and the driver dies. But then the train somehow sets off. Who did that? Can the blind dead even drive? How do they know where they're going? So at the next stop, Betty's alive. She's the only survivor somehow. I guess the blind dead didn't see her because, you know, they're blind. Some random goons jump on the train and I guess they see the blind dead and it ends in the only fitting way possible. You goon! Now apparently the blind dead was also called Tomb of the Blind Dead and was a slightly longer version because it didn't cut out any nudity or gore or certain plot elements. But regardless, I imagine it was still a steaming pile of horse shit, but entertaining horse shit nonetheless. I really wanted this film to be as mad and as amusing as a film I reviewed back in 2018 called Raiders of the Living Dead, but it's nowhere near as entertaining, although it's just as slow as that dirge was. I mean, it's not a particularly bad film overall, it's just very slow paced and at times feels like watching paint dry, but it does manage to create a nice level of tension and atmosphere, I'll give it that much. The only thing more dead than the night will be your brain cells from enduring this movie. Still, it's not horrendous, just very dull overall and almost colour-inducing at times, but it's engaging to count how many times Betty's hair changes throughout the movie. It kind of makes for a fun drinking game. So, 2 out of 10. So just before you leave me, I'd like to take a moment of your time to tell you about my brand new book that's out. Not by Johnny Shitcase, but by me, John D. Ashton. Now, it's not the book that Virginia were reading. This is called Figures in the Fog, and it's a collection of 22 short stories that I've written over the last 4 years, and is out right now. See, that's me. Amazing. Now, sometimes I get messages from people asking if I have a Patreon account or a Patreon account. I don't know what one is, and I don't even know how to say it properly, as you can tell. And some people have offered to send me money via PayPal, which I politely refuse. But if you do want to show a little bit of support towards me, you can purchase my book on paperback or on Kindle through Amazon. Now on release day, the paperback actually climbed up to number 6 on the horror anthologies, which I was over the moon with, so thank you to the people who have supported my book so far. If you want to do that, I'd appreciate if you just help spread the word, because even if you just tell one person, every little helps. So thanks for your time, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the review of The Blind Dead.